other day about my honey frames. If I sent my boxes and my honey frames out to be extracted or if I did it myself. I don't know of anybody local to me that does that. I do all of my work ourselves. We do our butchering ourselves, we do our maple syrup ourselves, we do our honey ourselves. We do our combining, our field work, everything ourselves. We do our tires ourselves. We are true farm people. So, not that it makes somebody less of a farmer by not being able to do that stuff, but it sure makes things a lot more efficient. We definitely try to do for ourselves. So this is my honey extractor, and I have videos on each step of this individually a year or so ago, so I can link those videos into the description also. But I just wanted to show you and tell you some upsides and downsides of like this type of honey extractor. And I had some pre-warning about this before I went into it, and I think it's important to share that with you. So if you're doing honey in your kitchen, these units can scratch up your counter, and the stand can scratch up your floor. Kitchens can be very expensive, so you don't want to do that. If you can do it out like in the garage on a concrete area, that's really great, but any bee that smells that honey is going to get into it, hornets, wasps, so you've got to make sure that you're bee tight so that you're not having problems with that. A lot of times honey houses will have a bee escape put into like a window so that the bees can get out but can't get back in. My frame, I actually went and got some Teflon wheels at Menards and added to the bottom of it. You can bolt this to the ground and it makes it less wobbly. If your frames are uneven, if they're not put in exactly the right spot, or if they are not evenly loaded with honey, that can make it difficult. And this frame is a medium, so I'll show you that as I'm working. But the little ends of the top bar fit down into slots in the bottom. So I'll give you a shot of that also. It's morning time, so all the kids are present, having a nice little quiet time of reading. So when I spin this, it jiggles. And after you flip it, you have to have 3 frames in it also to keep it balanced, even if one frame is empty but has wax in it, because it is just going to jiggle all over the place. So it works by centrifugal force. And to keep it from wobbling around too much, I have locks on my wheels. They do not stay in place. So I just kind of hug it. Having a little bit of a belly right now is helpful. So I've started to spin this one already. Yes, your arm can get tired. To make sure I get all the honey out, I give it a lot of good cranks and really let it go, because I don't want to have to pull it out, look at it, and just take more time like that, but I can just spin a few more times. Do know that these do need occasional grease, and you want to make sure you use a food grade grease. Everything I'm using in my honey extraction is food grade material. These black are my totes. Here are food grade. These totes are not, and they are just for carrying frames to and from the beehives or to the garage. An important thing to know is this will start to spin slowly. You won't get a good crank if there's a lot of honey in the bottom. So, I've already started this last night. This is a half full bucket of honey. And you don't bottle your honey the same day. You have to let those bubbles settle. They actually rise up out of the honey. And you can skim it off or just save that last container of honey for yourself. Because I don't care what my honey looks like, but to sell it, you want it nice and pretty. So I keep my strainer here on my bucket, and then I just open my valve and drain some of the honey out while I'm working on the frames that needed to be uncapped. My uncapping tank, I have a separate video. This is something I made on my own. It's just the right size. Take one here that's not loaded, so that I can work on uncapping this or have another person help me so that the frames set right down in there. And I just made my own piece of wood for the top to set my frames on while I'm working. It has a screw here, and I made a little notch on each side. I am cleaning off burr comb with my hive tool off the tops of the frame as I work, because right here they got so full of honey that they just started making honey anywhere they can. And the frames really can get gumped up with wax or propolis here and on the bottoms of the frame, burr comb also. So now is the time to get that all cleaned off. I keep a wet cloth right by me so that I can clean off my hands in between. This is all stainless steel. Don't go with the plastic one. It's a pain in the butt. It's not going to be long lasting. The tops of this are a heavy plastic, and when I was leaning against it yesterday this way, this kept sliding off the hinge, and it actually went flying across my kitchen a couple of times. So I've developed a little crack I'm going to have to work on in my other one. So I'm going to close my valve now. I never leave it open when I'm spinning because the whole thing can tend to shift. And yes, I've left it open before and had little trickles of honey all over my floor. I've done this in the kitchen and in the garage. And I like to do it in the kitchen because I can keep an eye on everybody and still be present and be a part of the family. I've got a nice little TV here, and we just get open ear antenna TV, but I can listen to the news or whatever. So I flipped them over. I put the top bar of the frame, I'm right-handed, so I'm turning clockwise. I put the top bar of the frame to the left, and then the angle of the wax cells makes the honey spin out. They actually build up the wax in the frames on an angle. And your honey is not ready until it's capped. If you get the honey out before it's capped, it can actually ferment. Now, if you're getting up there in years and you have bursitis or arthritis or anything, you might want to invest in a motorized unit. Eventually, I probably will. Last week, with having some arthritis in my knee, it was really, really painful to do some of the work. And I know that this would just wear me right out. So there's my frame. Show it to you up close. It spins it all out. Like right here, there's 2 cells that didn't get uncapped, so they'll just be full. And there's no point in trying to get each and every individual cell. But real nice. Not dripping full of honey. You can see there's little bits of honey here. You put these right back in the hive, and the bees will clean them right up. So when I'm done spinning them out, you can see I just stick it right into this tote. This will hold about 15 frames. But it's just wide enough. But on the top layer, I have to have them on an angle to be able to close them. And that one is all done. I've got another one down here, and then I just keep doing the same thing over and over. Okay, so I told you I would tell you some of the benefits and drawbacks of doing it like this. I'm using a cold uncapping knife. They make an electric hot uncapping knife, but honestly the ones that I found online that I would be willing to spend like in the $40 range had a lot of reviews of being too hot or smoking or having problems like that. And everything ends up being brought in from another country anyway, and if it works a few times, it's worth it. I have done about 30 frames right now, and my thumb is sore from just the pressure point of the knife. Yeah. So after doing that many frames, my thumb is sore from using my thumb to help push it down. The scrapings, the uncapping fork, works good for getting shallow frames uncapped, but it really destroys the wax, each individual cell, and the bees have to replace that. You can only go as fast as you can cut. And here's one more drawback. Any honey needs to be filtered to get the cappings out. When you spin your honey in the extractor, little bits of wax come out in the honey, and that's what we're doing here. We're filtering for that. You're filtering for bee legs, you know, bee parts. You can see I got a little piece of a bee there. And it comes out really nice when you're done. You can only extract your honey as fast as you can filter it in this case. So with the second set of strainers, you can have another bucket going at the same time, which is really beneficial for speed. George needs me right now, and it is time for his breakfast. So we're going to take... Yeah. We're going to take a little break from spinning honey now for a bit and take care of George and go out and feed my animals. And while I'm not doing the rest of my jobs, the rest of this honey will finish filtering for me, and we will see what's going on with it when we come back. Look at the old videos too. It's really interesting to see how the whole process goes. But this will be our honey supply. We've got about 56 frames that we have to work on throughout today, maybe tomorrow. We'll just kind of see how it goes. But we're just doing this in between doing hay. So this is our third crop for our farm this year. We started with the maple syrup, and we did hay, and now we did this. We will start planting the sunflower soon, and then move on to firewood. So thanks for watching, everybody. Remember to like if you like, hit that little bell notification on the bottom so you'll know when the next video comes up. See you next time.